Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Karina Diane Farisa Binti and my supervisor is Sir Nasiruddin bin Aziz. I would like to welcome my panels and also my viewers to my presentation. Today, I will be presenting my final year project entitled Cultural Barriers in the series Jimmy and Georgia that was released in the year 2021. So today, my presentation overview, I will be talking about the introduction, research objectives, research questions, literature reviews, methodologies, results, and also the discussion and conclusion and recommendations will be added as well. For the first slide is introduction. So this study examines the series Ginny and Georgia highlighting cultural awareness from multiple perspectives. In a multicultural society, it is very important to respect diverse cultures, but cross-cultural barriers persist in everyday interactions. Sadly, these barriers are often normalized, even by educators and also majority groups. So, this research explores cultural challenges between ethnic groups as portrayed in American films, which is Chile and Georgia. Films are a powerful tool for shaping and also enhancing cultural perceptions, influencing audiences worldwide. I chose Ginny and Georgia because it features characters from diverse backgrounds and also while previous studies have focused on high and low context cultures, the cultural differences between black and Asian communities in the US remain underexplored. So, this study bridges the gap by exploring both African Americans and Asians' interaction between each other and also with the white Americans in American settings. Moving on to the research objectives. So, I have two research objectives and two research questions. First is to identify the cultural barriers experienced by the American character of mixed parentage in the series Ginny and Georgia. And the second research objective is to explore the strategies employed by the American character of mixed parentage to overcome the cultural barriers in the series Ginny and Georgia. For my research questions, the first one is what are the cultural barriers experienced by the American character of mixed parentage in the series Ginny and Georgia? And the second one is how does the American character of mixed parentage in the series Ginny and Georgia overcome these cultural barriers? Moving on to my literature review. So, two key theoretical frameworks on cross cultural communication used in this study are to achieve the research objectives and also to answer the research questions. So the first one is Barna's 1994 Stumbling Blocks in Intercultural Communication, which includes six barriers, which are assumption of similarities, language differences, nonverbal misinterpretations, preconceptions and stereotypes, tendency to evaluate, and also high anxiety. For DeVito's 2014 interpersonal communication model, which emphasizes on self-education, acknowledging differences, confronting stereotypes, and also reducing ethnocentrism. So, several studies have explored cultural barriers using Barna's 1994 framework across different sectors, from film analysis and to real world interactions. I have chosen two that is most relevant to my study, which is one study by Afidatul and Elias that was published in 2023, analyzed cross-cultural communication challenges in the American film Outsourced that was released in 2016, focusing on interactions between the Indian and American characters. So the research highlights language barriers, cultural misunderstanding, and differing values as key factors leading to communication difficulties or communication barrier. So another study that was found was by Ida Seeger that was published in 2021. She examined intercultural challenges in IKEA, Japan. So her findings revealed that language differences were the primary barrier, leading to stress and also high anxiety among employees from diverse cultural backgrounds. So this aligns with Barna's 1994 framework, emphasizing how linguistic challenges impact workplace communication. So these studies reinforce the significance of cross-cultural communication frameworks in understanding and addressing cross-cultural barriers. Moving on to the methodology. So this study uses a qualitative, descriptive approach to explore cross-cultural communication in Guinea and Georgia. So focusing on barriers between African Americans, Asians, and Americans, white Americans. So content and discourse analysis were used to examine cultural dynamics and the language used in the series. The study centers on Virginia Jeannie Miller, a 16-year-old in Wellsbury, Massachusetts. So it examines her cultural barriers and the strategies she has done in daily interactions using purposeful sampling. So, 8 episodes from 2 seasons were analyzed with a focus on Jeannie's interactions, which were transcribed for the study. So, furthermore, this study uses content analysis to examine patterns in dialogue involving an African American in the US. So, additionally, discourse analysis is also applied to explore how language conveys meaning within the social and also the cultural context. Now, I will present the data collection procedure used in the study. So, selecting the study's focus is an essential initial step. This will enable the researcher, me, to decide on the study's course, which is cultural barriers in the series Genie and Georgia, is the study's main topic. So, selecting the best study relevant framework is the second stage. Once the frameworks were obtained, I utilized the two frameworks to direct the process of identifying and analyzing the cultural barriers and devising solutions for communication barriers. So the two frameworks that I chose were Barna's 1994 Stumbling Blocks in Intercultural Communication and also Davito's 2014 The Interpersonal Communication Strategies. So choosing the best series to do the data analysis it was the third stage. The series Ginny and Georgia was chosen as a sample because the research aims to investigate cross-cultural communication, and the show's intercultural communication is a crucial component of the plot. So, the choice of a single study major character is the fourth phase due to her attempts at navigating interactions and communications as a teenager of mixed parentage surrounded by Americans. I have chosen Virginia Janae Miller, an African American residing in America, as the key character to be researched for this research. The clashing of cultural origins that this study seeks to emphasize will therefore be evident. So this study basically focused on cultural barriers in Guinea and Georgia using two frameworks. Next is qualitative content analysis was also used to identify key concepts, patterns, and also themes within the episodes, helping the readers to understand the context and significance of the data. So, this approach was ideal for examining human behavior in the series. And moving on, to ensure the reliability and validity of this paper, the study used consistent coding with a coding manual and relied on established frameworks and a literature review. So Barna's 1994 and DeVito's 2014 frameworks guided the research, supported by previous studies by IDA 2021 and also Afidato and Elias 2023. So data analysis utilized Barna's frameworks for barriers and DeVito's framework for the strategies. Moving on to the results that I found. So the findings presented in the study revealed that all 6 barriers from Barna's 1994 model were evident and all 4 barriers outlined by DeVito 2014 were also identified throughout the study. So, Barna 1994 emphasized that rejection based on being from a different group is a severe intercultural barrier, where Ginny faces in Ginny and Georgia. So, Barna's barriers, which are assumption of similarities, language differences, stereotypes, and the tendency to evaluate nonverbal misinterpretations, and high anxiety were observed in the series. Among this, high anxiety was the most common and appeared frequently across different episodes and the seasons in interactions between Ginny and also other characters from diverse backgrounds. So when elaborating the findings for high anxiety, it was kind of easy and clear for the readers as well. So high anxiety, it occurs where when individuals feel uncertain and out of control. Ginny, um, portraying an introverted kind of character, internalizes her anxiety about fitting in, which leads to self harm. So, research by Kim et al. 2024, she suggests that adolescents navigating bicultural identities are particularly more vulnerable to anxiety due to both developmental stress and also cultural adaptations challenges. So one example that I found under her anxiety occurred when Ginny's white friends white and Asian friends suggested that they dress as Britney Spears for Halloween, while her black friend criticized her for not embracing her black identity. So Jeannie, unsure of how to navigate the situation, she felt stress, which is also related to anxiety. So another instance involved Jeannie straightening her hair to fit in after being repeatedly called out about her appearance. So the only thing that she could change was her hair because she couldn't change her skin color. Okay. So Ginny's anxiety is common for teenagers dealing with new environments. Internalizing stress, like Ginny does, can lead to self-harm as a coping mechanism. So studies link perceived racism to mental distress, especially among African American youth facing discrimination. For instance, Madhubata et al. 2019 emphasized that African American youth, as a minority group in the United States, may face increased stress levels due to experiences of discrimination, especially in light of the growing prevalence of racism and also racially motivated hate crimes as well. So, and as for the findings that answer the second research question, utilizing DeVito's interpersonal communication strategies, the figure illustrates the frequency of strategies used by Jenny Miller in the selected episodes. Four strategies were identified, which were self education, acknowledging differences, confronting stereotypes, and also reducing ethnocentrism. So the findings show that confronting stereotypes was the most common strategy used by Gini. Confronting stereotypes helps reduce negative stereotyping and promotes cultural equality. DeVito 2014 explains that stereotypes arise from assumptions and generalizations leading to fixed judgments about a group. So Ginny, as a biracial character, often faces stereotypes based on her appearance because the way she talked, her lifestyle has already been in an she grew up in an American setting. So the only thing that makes other people isolate her is the way she looks based on solely on her appearance only. So she challenges these stereotypes, addressing unfair treatment and advocating for equality. Throughout the series, Jenny confronts both her peers and also her English teacher about their racist attitudes, with support from her close friends and also family, especially her mother helping her cope with the hurtful words and actions she faces. Also, even though the frequency for acknowledging differences and also self education is the same as confronting stereotypes, however, confronting stereotypes can be found in more episodes and more can be clearer when her interactions with different characters as well. So next is the recommendations and conclusion. So this study analyzes cross-cultural communication in Guinea and Georgia, offering insights for readers, researchers, and for students who would be using these frameworks in the future and interested in real world cross cultural interactions. So, while based on a scripted series, it reflects real life situations as well because it's non fictional. So, the findings lead to several recommendations for future research. Firstly, Barna's 1994 and DeVito's 2014 framework should be continuously applied to explore cross-cultural communications in diverse contexts such as the workplace, home, and also school settings. These models can help identify communication challenges and strategies in both professional and personal environments as well. Applying them in various settings will deepen understanding and ensure their ongoing relevance in fostering effective cross cultural communication in future researches. Next, future studies could improve data authenticity by analyzing unscripted real life interactions instead of scripted sitcoms. Maybe gathering quantitative data from actual conversations or documented experiences would provide more accurate human behavior and also genuine insights into cross cultural communication, free from the influence of scripting or direction. Lastly, regarding the number of episodes, increasing the sample size would greatly improve the study's findings. A larger data set would offer a more comprehensive understanding of cross cultural communication, including the strategies and barriers that arise. So, by expanding the sample, researchers would gain a broader perspective and more detailed insights. So, in conclusion, cross cultural communication, as seen in the study of an African American in the US, applies to anyone facing cultural shifts, like Americans in Malaysia or vice versa. This research is valuable for future studies on intercultural barriers in media, nationalism, stereotyping, and also maybe discrimination, particularly through Barna's 1994 and DeVito's 2014 frameworks. So, such communication is so common, it is often overlooked, occurring in both media and also real life. So, all in all, embracing I just have to say that embracing cultural differences and treating others with respect fosters understanding and harmony in diverse settings everywhere. And respect is very important. And we should treat people the way we want to be treated as well. Okay, thank you.